know addressing faith and science together can be a little bit contradictory, but what if there's evidence that actually proves the idea that pure faith can actually improve symptoms of diseases? So there's actually something very, very interesting about this, and that's called the placebo effect. But what exactly is the placebo effect? The placebo effect is basically an improvement of symptoms that occurs when patients receive a treatment that has no medicinal value. This means that you get better, even though the treatment you receive is actually scientifically proven not to have any effects on you. Interesting, right? And a little bit weird, to be honest, but bear with me first. So let's sort of have a big let's sort of zoom out and have a big overview of everything and just think to ourselves, how does this actually relate to religion? So one day when I was doing a little bit of research on this topic, I actually stumbled on an article that talked about a case report in 2008. So this case report was done on a patient that had Huntington's disease. And in this report, it was stated that this woman, which is the patient, she visited Lourdes, which is a place in France where pilgrims visit to actually be cleansed of their sins and to be cured of their illnesses. So upon visiting Lourdes, this patient actually believed that Virgin Mary spoke to her during her pilgrimage and told her that she was freed of the disease. So when she came back from her pilgrimage, she continued taking her regular prescriptions, but internally she believed that she was already cured because of her experience with Virgin Mary. So weird, right? Here's an even more interesting take on this. So two neurologists examined the patient before and after her visit to Lourdes, and this is where it gets a little bit crazy. They found almost a complete elimination of involuntary movement problems in the patient. Now, bear in mind that this patient has been taking the same prescriptions for years and her symptoms were not alleviated, but rather prolonged to prevent it from becoming worse. The only difference this time, guys, is that she went to pilgrimage in France. Medical experts then actually came to the conclusion that the patient's intense religious conviction resulted in the placebo effect on her movement disorders, and this happened because this reduced her anxiety levels, which is known to be a cause to actually increase her symptoms. And this, my friends, is what we call the placebo effects of prayer. So it definitely seems fair to believe that some patients with the hopes of curing oneself will definitely engage in prayer. This is not just something that is in movies, but in real life as well. If you have family members or you in the future, let's hope it doesn't happen. Sometimes when it comes to things that are devastating or things that seems like there is no hope, people only resort to engaging in prayer in hopes for a miracle. Hence, in some cases, when you think about it, instead of placebo versus prayer, prayer itself may be required as a way to sort of mediate and instill the placebo effect in some disease symptoms. Some researchers even concluded that religious involvement and spirituality are associated with better health outcomes. And this includes greater longevity, less anxiety, less depression, and of course, reducing in rates of suicide. Several studies also show that addressing the spiritual needs of the patient may enhance recovery of illness. Even in Islam, it is stated in Surah Al-Inshirah, "For indeed with hardship will be ease, indeed with hardship will be ease." And this verse is actually repeated twice in the Quran. This means that the difficulties you go through, in this case, let's say sickness, it won't be forever. You just have to believe that something better awaits you and that He, Allah, is taking care of you. So what does this all mean basically? Basically, my friends, religious beliefs and experiences may induce the placebo effect, which may actually trigger your body's own coping and healing responses. This means that patients actually become better by triggering their own physiological healing mechanisms, all because of their strong faith and religion.